everybody, I'm Tracy Ford. Welcome to my channel. I am the owner and producer of this channel, as well as your host for the very last episode of the Sundry Series. It's actually just the first season of the Sundry Series, and I know that we said we were going to go until the end of July, but everybody is usually busy in the summer, so there's really no point in doing any new episodes throughout the summer, and we have a very busy summer for us as well. So today is June, I believe it's going to be, I want to say June 9th was the last episode that would be airing. I'm going to check and make sure. Yes, June 9th. That is today. So after today, you will not be seeing any more episodes of the Sundry Series until September. And at that time, we will have a whole new agenda of things to talk about and new things to discuss. But for tonight, what we want to do is we want to thank you for tuning in for this season and following us here on YouTube. The topic for this evening's discussion is learning from your mistakes and your own evolution. You will always make mistakes, no matter what you are doing with your life, no matter whether you're a writer, a musician, it doesn't matter. You're going to make tons of mistakes. Some of them that you're going to realize are a mistake right away. Others, it's going to take time for it to reveal itself. As time passes, sometimes you realize you've made the mistake. So sometimes it can happen immediately. You're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Or it can take years for you to realize that you've made a big mistake. And that doesn't mean that you can't correct that mistake. Every mistake has a lesson hidden in it. You learn from that and you grow. And that is when it's important to look to friends and family for support when you're going through situations like that. Try to stay positive. I know that that is absolutely the hardest thing to do when you're hurting, is to stay positive. And I have had some struggles with that myself. And sometimes mistakes will cost you money, and they will also cost you tears. So it's okay to cry when you realize that you've made a terrible decision, or that your decision didn't quite have the results that you needed it to have. The point is to keep your head up and admit that the mistake is half the battle. But then it leads to us understanding our own evolution, which is our next subject for this evening. You are always changing as an individual. If you're not changing, you're not growing. Now, I'm not talking about aging. I don't think aging is evolving at all. I'm talking about spiritual growth, intellectual growth, maturing in those realms. And change does mean growth most of the time. And change can hurt. Growth hurts. When we're growing up, we have growing pains. And that doesn't subside when we become adults. We still have growing pains. It's just a different type of pain. But what we want to do when we live our lives is we want to evolve and become empowered with those changes. Some changes have a full circle effect, and that's something that I coined myself. It's sort of like the prodigal son effect, which means that you leave a situation willingly. You leave it behind, and then you learn a lesson and realize that you shouldn't have left the situation in the first place. However, you learn more about yourself in that hiatus. And when you come back to the situation, 9 times out of 10, you're a better person. And you know how to deal with things better than you did when you left the situation. And I'm speaking from personal experience on that level. There's lots of situations I've walked away from, and some of them I've never went back to, and I never care to go back to. But some situations I've left and come back and realized that I had lost my mind temporarily, and that's okay, because that was part of my evolution. The thing that you need to know about evolution is it takes time. It's a process. It doesn't happen all at once. This has been hard for me because I want things now. I have a problem with patience, and I've always had a problem with patience. I've used to have a problem with impulsivity, but I don't anymore. Now child welfare taught me to sit and think before I made decisions, so that kind of subsided. But realize that even though you might be in a very dark situation, there's light somewhere. You just have to find it. So during your evolution, there's going to be periods of darkness. Look at the spiritual aspect of your situation and the evolution of it. If you believe in that sort of thing, I'm betting that you're going to be battling some type of spiritual growth during your evolution that you might have been resistant to before. Be brave. Sometimes changes can be extremely scary, and they can test your limits. Just be brave and tap into those friends and those networks that keep supporting you. Sometimes changes can be liberating. Sometimes evolving can be liberating. You can feel that immediately, or you can feel it at a later time. I thought my life was over in 2014 in April when I lost my job, but it was actually the best thing that could have ever happened to me. I learned more skills, I made more friends, I let go of people that were toxic to me and that were truly not my friends, and I tapped into my own strengths and my own abilities, as well as into my relationship with my higher power. And I learned that there was a greater purpose for every situation in my life. And I had preached that, but I didn't really live it up until that point. But I'm happy to say that I'm okay, and that I lived through it, and that I developed, and that I evolved, and that change was positive for me. If you are evolving as a writer, as a musician, as an artist in your career, you are going to be going through a process. It means that you are getting rid of things that you did not need, and you are keeping things that are helpful for your survival. That is what evolution is. We change to survive and to be more productive. In emotional evolution, you are not solidifying the species. You are solidifying your own self, and you are finding new pieces to yourself that you did not know were there. So yes, this episode has been extremely short, but you have stuck with me through the entire season, and I thank you for that. If you have questions, you can look me up on tracyford.com, as well as send me a direct email at tracyford@rocketmail.com, or you can leave a comment here on YouTube. I am going to be going on tour and book signings and all kinds of things. I have a brand new book out. Came out in March, and it is Through Glass Darkly. It is the end of the Between Worlds series. So I hope you grab that and that you enjoy that book. It is very suspenseful. I have a tendency to write suspense, and I am switching genres to medieval fantasy, so we'll see how that goes. Otherwise, have a great summer, and we will see you again in September. Have a great day. Love and light to you, and God bless.